Hello everyone, and welcome to Debonair Cyber, the gentleman's guide to digital defense. My name is Devin, and in today's video we're going to be starting a brand new series on the channel all about ICS and SCADA exploitation. This is a pathway in Hack the Box that will take us from beginner all the way through to some medium level challenges on the Hack the Box platform specific to ICS protocols like Modbus. In this first challenge called Watchtower, we're going to be looking at a PCAP file that is a short conversation between two machines using Modbus just to get us kind of acquainted with what the Modbus protocol looks like at a practical level. So a little bit of Wireshark skills mixed in here, along with some TCP stream analysis, those kinds of things. I'm super excited to dive into this ICS pathway, and I hope you are too. So let's get after it. And with all that out of the way, I think we are ready to get started here. Have our challenge pulled up here called Watchtower. This is a very easy challenge in terms of rating and the challenge description. Our infrastructure monitoring system detected some abnormal behavior and initiated a network capture. We need to identify information that intruders collected and altered in the network. All right. So I don't know how familiar you are with Hack the Box challenges. They're a little bit different from their normal normal boxes, right? So we need to come over here to the download files section. This will initiate a file download called Watchtower, and we can actually go and open this. And inside this zip file, we can actually see that we have a towerlogs.pcap, a Wireshark capture file. We can actually move this. If you have Wireshark actually downloaded locally on your system, you can use it that way. I'm going to use a Kali Linux VM. So what I need to do now is actually copy and paste this watchtower.zip into my Kali VM. All right, so here we are now. We can see we have the watchtower.zip file on the desktop of the Kali machine. We're going to open a terminal here. And we can see now a CD into a pre-made directory that I have called Hack the Box. We have some Academy files and my VPN file. Right now, we don't really need VPN. With the specific challenge that we're in, all we need is that download file. So for right now, I'm going to make a new directory. Let's call this ICS SCADA Exploitation. And we can actually CD into that. And we will move the desktop Watchtower and move it here. We can ls now and see that we have that in here. And really, honestly, we could even make a new make directory for Watchtower specifically. If I could learn how to type, it'd be great. And then we can move Watchtower.zip into Watchtower. Uh-oh. There we go. Now we CD into Watchtower. So now that we're in here, one final thing that I do want to point out, and we need to get in a good habit to do, is actually we can see the SHA-256 value as well as a zip password for the file that we just downloaded. So what we can do, we can grab this SHA-256 hash, bring it over here into our Kali Linux machine, and just make a note of this, right? Control V, I'm going to zoom in on that a little bit so we can all see it a little bit better. There we go. And we can take a SHA-256 sum of the watchtower.zip file. And we can see here OCDF starts with OCDF, ends with C0D72. So it looks like we have a matching hash here and we are good to go. This is just validating once again that the file that we downloaded is a file that we expected to download and that nothing has been altered inside of it. So now with all of our housekeeping out of the way, let us unzip this file and Watchtower, and we got the password again over on Hack the Box. We just enter that here. and we can see that we have inflated tower logs.pcap, the one that we saw earlier. So now we can do Wireshark, and -R is the flag that we need to open a specific file. If you need help with that, you can do the -H command. That will give you all of the different flags and stuff that you can use with Wireshark on the command line. Again, R is the one that we need to open this specific file, and we will use tower logs.pcap, and that is going to open Wireshark for us. And we can see here, right off the bat, we have a lot of Modbus traffic going on here between 192.168.150 and 192.168.1.252 are the two machines that are talking back and forth here. So we can see a lot of, if I can scroll, there we go. A lot of read coils going through here, and then we eventually get to some write multiple registers. So this is just different function calls in the actual Modbus protocol. Two different function calls in the Modbus protocol, I should say. So in order for us to take a little bit closer look here, one thing that we can do is go and follow the TCP stream of these two computers talking back and forth to each other. Right now we can see these in ASCII, and it's not really giving us a ton of information here. We can see, looks like maybe a little bit going on here, but we can't really make out for sure what exactly is going on. What we can do though is go to a hex dump of these machines talking to each other. This gives us the full byte for byte analysis of what is actually happening behind the scenes of this Modbus communication. And for more information on actual Modbus, we can actually come over to Google, just kind of type in Modbus, right? And we can see here that it is actually maintained by the Modbus organization these days. It was originally started, I think, by Schneider Electricity, I think, is that right? And now is independently maintained of them. But we also have this other site over here that I found that's not kind of nice. This Modbus tools site will actually give us a really good overview of what these function calls are and how to actually read them as we are moving through here. So we can actually see the read coils. Let's make this a little bit bigger. There we go. We can see the read coils here, and that's going to take us down to that section of the documentation for this, as well as write multiple registers here. We can see the ASCII values 16 and 01, as well as the hex values, keep that in mind, of 01 and 10. So again, keeping in mind that we have hex values and just kind of where these all are positioned. There's also tables a little bit further down too that will actually write out for you what each of these bytes in the protocol are actually mapping to. All right, so at the very top of this communication here, we can actually see, first of all, we have all these zeros, right? Just past that, we have the first two bytes, 803F, and they're going to correspond with the response. This is basically like these two, this is the actual identifier for the communication. We can see that with all of these pairs, 35FA, 35FA, you can continue on down 28, 28, that every response is going to have the exact same identifier. They are paired together in that way. We can also see that whenever they actually start doing a little bit more consistent communication, we can see the 01 again is what we would expect to see from this function call, the 01 in hex. Remember, we're in hex, not in ASCII. So this read coils is going to correspond to 01, and then we have all these other starting address and all this stuff. What is actually going to happen here? The main ones that, like I said, we're concerned with are the identifiers here and this number right here, which is going to tell us the function call. And then later, the actual, when we're actually writing to, when it switches from read to write, which again, we'll go from 01 to 10, that it happens right here. We can see that this, make this a little bit bigger, I think. There we go. Nice and big. So now we can see Takes us a little bit out of alignment, but that's okay. The 0, 1 swaps over to 1, 0. And now from there, we can actually see that we are entering data. This 40 L R 0, as that these are the actual, this is the data that is being entered into these registers. So like this is pointing out register 34. All right, so now that we have a little bit better understanding of what is actually going on with these bytes in the middle of this conversation, again, the 0, 1 to 1, 0 right here is where we're actually flopping over. We don't really need the responses. So in order to clean this up a little bit, I'm actually going to filter out the responses and just focus on the one that is actually doing the communication to the other machine, the one that is doing the writing, right? So we look through, again, starting at 10, right? Because it is going to map over to the write function, write multiple coils that we got over here in this Wireshark file, right? So we went from read coils, the 0, 1 over to 1, 0, write multiple registers. So now we need to start looking over here at these values to see what is being written. And we pretty soon start to notice a familiar pattern if you're used to actually submitting flags and hack the box. And if you're not, what we can actually do is come over here to submit flag. We can just kind of change this so the button comes up and we just hit submit flag. We can see a particular syntax, right, that they like to use for their flags, HTB, and then an opening curly bracket. That is the sign that we're going to look for all of the flags. So all of them are going to have this similar HTB open bracket. That's what we're going to look for, right? So we can see that pattern before too long here. HTB open bracket. And what we can do is actually just go down and copy each one of these values. This one is a little bit deceptive because it looks like it's a little bit farther off because of how I got it zoomed in. But again, we're looking 2 bytes, 3 bytes from the end of this communication. So we're going to copy all of those values on down the line, and we'll meet you back whenever we got all that done. All right, so after going through and copying all of the values in that last spot there, we can get this hack the box, and then we have the open bracer, right? Encryption, never heard of that. And then we have these little things here. The flag will always end, by the way, with this closing curly bracket. So we can see that here in this instance, and the rest of this data is not part of the flag itself, even though we can see, and actually, yeah, we can see that these are still writing. We see that 10 and then eventually switch back to a 0, 1, right, where we're reading again. But anything after this last curly bracket here, we're not really concerned with for the purposes of the flag. There might be some other stuff hidden in here, who knows? But for the flag itself, we have what we need. And like I said, as long as we've gone through and copied each one of these values, we're good to go. So we can actually copy this, bring it back over into this, paste it in. This is a piece of cake. Come on, guys. We got it. And of course, I've already solved the challenge, but that is how you would actually go in and submit the flag. So with this one, is if you have any kind of like Wireshark experience, right, this seems a little bit trivial. I would say very easy is a really good indicator here. And honestly, I mean, this is my first real practical application with Modbus as well. So like getting used to reading a new protocol is different, and not really like understanding what you're looking for when you're examining that kind of traffic. Totally get that 100%. But once you actually get the hang of what you're looking for in the traffic and what the Modbus protocol is actually capable of, again, going back through all the documentation that we looked up earlier over here in our Firefox instance, got this Modbus protocol as well as the other Modbus organization. That's where the actual documentation is, right? So using these resources, figuring out what Modbus actually does, what function calls are available, and how to actually read through those function calls really is what this challenge is all about. And getting its, just dipping your toes in the ICS and SCADA. So I know this one was a little bit simple. However, the next one is a bit of a doozy. I'm super excited about it, and I hope you are. If you're enjoying the content here, please don't forget to like and subscribe. And with that, I'll see you in the next one.